they spilled it on the first ayah that Uthman radiallahu anhu wrote for the Prophet ﷺ, فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will suffice you against them. And it was known the Prophet ﷺ said Uthman will enter Jannah because of a tribulation that will afflict him. Now what to do? The army is in control of Medina. The Sahaba are under guard. None of them can do anything. These people, they come to Ali radiallahu anhu because part of the rumor is that Ali is the real ruler. Ali should be the real ruler. Ali is the right guy. Uthman disbelieved. Uthman left Islam. And so they come to Ali. And they say to Ali, "Oh Ali, we want you to be the ruler." Ali says, "No." He says, "You people have come, you've conquered Medina, you've captured us, you've killed these people. I'm not going to be your ruler." They say, "If you do not accept to be our ruler, we are going to slaughter the inhabitants of Medina one by one until you accept." So Ali says, "To save the blood of the Muslims, I will accept. I am your ruler." Now, what this does is, this instigates the very beginning of innovations in Islam. It shows what? It shows a beginning of spreading lies and rumors about the companions. It shows a beginning of rebelling against those in authority. So it shows us the beginning of two groups. It shows us the beginning of the Shia in the exaggeration of Ali radiallahu anhu, and it shows us the beginning of the Khawarij, those people who rebelled against those in authority time and time again. Just the beginning. It doesn't show us the real establishment. Now the family of Uthman, we said was, who did we mention was from the family of Uthman? Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. Muawiyah was one of the closest family members to Uthman. He came to Ali and he said, "I have come to you as the ruler for you to give me to execute the people who executed my cousin. I want my retribution. I want them to be caught and imprisoned, and I want their lives to be taken for the fact that they took the life of Uthman." Ali says no. Why does he say no? Because he says, if I do that, first of all, they are mixed into the army, I can't tell where they are. Second of all, if I do that, they will begin to kill the people in Medina. I can't do it. I have no ability to do it. I agree with you. They should be killed, but I can't physically kill them. So Muawiyah says, "That's fine. I'm not going to obey you until you give me my right in Islam." And Ali says, "That's fine. I can't give you your right in Islam." And so one goes over to one way and one goes over to the other. Muawiyah stays in Syria and he continues to demand justice for Uthman, and Ali radiallahu anhu remains in Makkah and Medina, and he continues to wish for justice for Uthman but to claim that he can't. The Sahaba took various different positions on the issue. This was not an issue of disbelief and belief. Some of the Sahaba said that Muawiyah was right to do what he did and we have to have justice for Uthman. And from those Sahaba was Aisha radiallahu anha. She said, if we allow the people to do what they have done to Uthman, who will they do it to next? Ali. Who is the next person who's going to be killed? And in reality, who was the next person to be killed? Ali radiallahu anhu. So Aisha was fearing over the well-being of Ali radiallahu anhu, and she said, if we set this precedent in the ummah, every single group will just come and kill every ruler they don't like. We have to make a stand. And another group said, no, Ali is right, we shouldn't be making a stand, too many people will be killed, we're going to have to leave it. The critical thing here is that this is a matter of ijtihad. It is a matter of coming to the truth with your knowledge of Islam. It's not a clear matter of halal and haram. It's not a clear matter of halal and haram. One group says it's better for us to take retribution and set an example and say, we're not going to let you come and kill our rulers. And another group says, no, it's better for us to wait and take the right time. That's not to say both of them were right, but that's to say that neither of them were doing it in order to disobey Allah. Neither of them were doing it. Muawiyah did not want to be the Khalifa. He didn't want to be in charge. He said that I can't just push this under the rug and say to you nothing's wrong when my own blood has been slaughtered so like this. I'm not going to accept it. We can't do this. You have to give us justice. Ali radiallahu anhu says, I want to give you justice but I can't. So the two disagree. And the companions meet on different sides. What do the munafiqeen take the next opportunity to do? To attack each side from the other side. So Aisha radiallahu anha decides she's going to go and make peace. She says, as the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'm going to go and I'm going to make peace between Ali and between Muawiyah and the people who are with him. So she goes and she says that she wants to make peace. Again, just like when Ali and Uthman met the people at the time of the army coming to Medina, the munafiqeen start to panic. If Aisha is successful, their whole plan will be ruined. And they'll realize that the two of them will come together. By this time, the Muslim army has come back. And the Muslim army is with Aisha. So imagine the Muslim army comes back from jihad. What's happened? Uthman's been killed. Ali is in charge. Ali needs help to get these people out of his army. No problem, we'll help you. Off they go with Aisha. So Aisha and her mahram, and her two mahram, or Aisha and her mahram, Aisha and her nephew are there. And likewise are all of the other companions who are there. And likewise, the Muslim army is behind them. Huge Muslim army. They say, right, let's go talk to Ali, let's explain to him, we've got the strength, we'll overpower the people, we'll kill the people who killed Uthman, Muawiyah will come back, job done. They meet. What do the munafiqeen do? They infiltrate the army of Aisha and they infiltrate the army of Ali. And then they begin to shoot at each other from the opposite side. So the army of Aisha, or the army with Aisha, the Muslim army who returned back from the conquests, begins to shoot at Ali. And the army of Ali begins to shoot back at the army of Aisha. Both sides presume that the other side is fighting against them, and they all jump in. Shaitan gets the better of everybody, and everyone jumps in and they start to kill everybody. Until it gets to the point where two significant things happen. One is that the camel that Aisha radiallahu anha is riding upon is killed. And this is like a big click. And it just makes everybody wake up and go, what are we doing? We're fighting against each other. What is this all about? We came for a peace treaty. What is this about? So they all stop fighting. And the second thing during the battle is that Az-Zubayr is fighting against Ali. The two companions, from the two of the most noble of the companions, are fighting each other. And then Ali says to him, did I not say to you, or did the Prophet ﷺ not say to you, there will come a day when you will fight against Ali and you will be oppressing him? And he remembers this hadith, because he doesn't remember it at the time. He remembers the hadith when their swords meet. And Ali says to him, didn't the Prophet ﷺ say you and me are going to meet like this, sword to sword? And didn't he say you would be wrong and I would be right? And Az-Zubayr drops his sword and he runs out of the battlefield in obedience to the Messenger of Allah, and the munafiqeen shoot him in the back on the way out, and he dies. So at this point it becomes clear that the truth is with who? With Ali radiallahu anhu. But this doesn't mean that the other companions were wrong. They simply made a mistake. They tried their best to make peace and they made a mistake, and the munafiqeen were there making the problems. But what that cemented forever is that there would be a group with Ali and there would be a group against him. And the munafiqeen love to increase this up and up and up and make a big scene over it. And you know, whose group are you with, and so on and so forth. And so this led to what were known as the Shia of Ali, or the helpers of Ali. And they were not like what we know as Shia today, but that belief system developed over many, many hundreds of years. But at the end of the day, they were those people who sort of supported Ali and sort of showed a hatred towards Uthman and towards Muawiyah and towards those other companions on the other side. And likewise, there was the Nasibiyah, the people who were on the side of Muawiyah, not from the companions. These are all people who were long away. And like football teams, you know, they grew to hate Ali and they grew to hate the people who were with him, and they made a fight between them. The next and the last event I'm going to talk about is to do with the Khawarij, and that is the eventual killing of Ali and the murder of Ali radiallahu anhu. And this happened effectively because the people couldn't stop with that. They couldn't be happy with Ali ruling over that area and Muawiyah. They couldn't handle it. They wanted more fighting. So what the munafiqeen started to do, they started to spread rumors about Ali. Ali's a bad ruler, we should get rid of him. And so they conspired in the end to murder not only Ali, but Muawiyah, Ali, and their two main ambassadors that negotiated on their behalf. So they made a plan that they were going to murder all four of them. Why? To create instability in the ummah, so that there would be no peace, and then the factions within each group would fight each other, and the Muslims would be broken. And in the end, they were unsuccessful in their assassination attempts, except for one, and that was the assassination of Ali radiallahu anhu wa ardah, and this was at this time. In terms of our belief about this, we believe, like the famous statement, that all of the Sahaba did what they did sincerely for the sake of Allah, and that they did not do anything to cause hatred amongst each other, and they did not declare each other to be disbelievers. Ali used to refer to Muawiyah as my brother or my cousin in Islam, and Muawiyah used to refer to him the same, and the two of them, they had a disagreement based on what they wanted for good for Islam. But there were people within each camp who wanted evil for Islam, and they were the ones who eventually, they killed Uthman, they killed Ali, and they later on set the precedent of killing and rebelling against every Muslim ruler who does something bad, or who does something bad in their eyes, and they came to the conclusion of declaring the one who does a major sin to be a disbeliever. Their justification for killing Ali was that Ali had made a treaty with Muawiyah. They said, if you've made a treaty with Muawiyah, you've made a treaty with the shaitan, you're a kafir, we're going to kill you. And they said to Muawiyah, if you made a treaty with Ali, you've made a treaty away from the law of Allah, we're going to kill you. And whoever you sent to negotiate that treaty, we're going to kill him as well. And they said, because you didn't kill Aisha or take her as a slave, we're going to kill you because you didn't follow the law of Islam. And so this deviancy came about, and it started to spread, and you have various different groups within this. You had those people who went to extremes regarding Ali, and that was extremes of love and extremes of hatred. And this love later developed into worship. So the worship of Ali that we see from the likes of what are they called? The Alawiyah, the Alawites in Syria, like Bashar al-Assad. This worship of Ali, it came through this extreme of love and this extreme of supporting, until it became worship. And a hatred, until it became a hatred of all of the family of the Prophet ﷺ. And likewise, we saw from this come the issue of rebellion, and we saw the issue of declaring the Muslims to be disbelievers. Because of sins. Declaring the Muslims to be disbelievers because of sins. And so on and so forth. This group who rebelled had equal hate for the companions as this group. Don't think that the Khawarij were any less in hatred of the companions than the Shia. Both of them hated the companions one way or the other. So they began with hatred of the companions, and it went into worship, it went into all sorts of other things after that. And likewise, declaring the Muslims to be disbelievers. The same people today who say, this guy is a disbeliever, this guy is a disbeliever, this guy refused to help this country, he's a disbeliever, this guy shook George Bush's hand, he's a disbeliever, this guy did this and this guy did this. These are the same group who murdered Ali radiallahu anhu. The same justification. If you do a major sin and you're a Muslim ruler, you deserve to be killed. What did the Prophet ﷺ say about rebellion? He said, hear and obey even if an Abyssinian slave is placed over you. And he said, even if he takes your wealth and beats your back, do not leave obedience to him. And the Prophet ﷺ said, do not rebel against a ruler until or unless he forbids you from praying the salah. So if the ruler murders people, kidnaps people, drives people out of their homes, takes their wealth, steals the wealth of the people, eats the wealth of the people, kills people, murders people, whatever he does, if he allows the salah to be performed in the land, then our belief is he is not to be rebelled against. Why? Not out of a love for him, not because we love him, not because we believe he's a great Muslim, but because the effects of rebellion are far, far worse than the effects of obedience. Let's take the case study of Algeria. In Algeria, they had a very oppressive ruler, and thousands of Muslims used to disappear every single year, but that was a small-ish number. The Islamic Party, who tried to rebel against him, when the civil war started, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were killed. Not just 1,000 a year, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, to the point where they said the streets ran with blood. After that civil war, what happened? Was the ruler better or worse? The ruler who came after the civil war was worse than the ruler who they sought to get rid of. In fact, the ruler who they sought to get rid of allowed them to pray, allowed them to call people to Islam, but he also used to kidnap some people from the street. So he was a bad guy, but he at least allowed Islam to exist in the country. After the civil war, the masajid were closed, the mosques were closed, and so on and so forth. And this is what you will see, wallahi, you will see a sunnah from the sunnah of Allah, that when any group of people rebels against the ruler who establishes the prayer, no good will come out of it. And that's why, look at the situation of the Muslim world today. We see that the countries are not stabilizing, that even if it's brought some good, at the same time, that it's so unstable. So many Muslims have been killed and continue to be killed. And that's not to say we disagree, but these are deep issues. I'm not going to say it's wrong to rebel against this guy or that guy. I have no doubt that someone like Bashar al-Assad is a disbeliever. And he doesn't allow the salah to be established or anything. But the point is that this rebellion, when it is uncontrolled and it's not based upon knowledge and it's not based upon Islam, it's going to lead to something far, far worse. And we see again and again and again and again throughout history. We could continue for another couple of hours of rebellions that happen, dying, then coming back, hundreds and thousands of Muslims being killed relentlessly across the ummah because of this particular issue. And this was the feature of the Khawarij, who they used to say would come to the Muslims and they would put a knife on your neck and they would say to you, "Are you a Christian?" And if you said, "Yes, I'm a Christian," they would say, "You can go." And if you said, "No, I'm a Muslim," they would chop off your head. That was what happened in the early days. And of course from them, we know at the time after Ali, or during the time of Ali, we had the Qadariyah. You know, the people who said that there's no Qadr. And then so on and so forth, and we talked about the Abbasid period as well. Now, I'm going to take questions, don't worry, inshallah, towards the end. But I wanted to just let you guys forward through history a little bit to listen to a video that I think is a fantastic, fantastic video. And it's quite difficult to understand, so we're not going to listen to a whole load of it. But I just want you to listen to some parts of it, just to talk a little bit about what sort of happened, or sort of how some of the philosophical groups came about and what they did. So, just wait for the computer to warm up. So this video, the purpose of it is to talk a little bit about the one of the philosophical arguments for the creation or for the existence of God. And it's a very, very, very useful video because it goes through some of the history of how the later deviancies came into Islam. We talked about the early deviancies, about how, you know, extremes, hatred of the companions on one side or the other, rebellion, killing the rulers, and, you know, so on and so forth, declaring the Muslims to be disbelievers. We talked about that, and now we're going to come to talk for the last half an hour or so, or perhaps 20 minutes, depending. And hopefully this has given you a bit of something to read and think about, and something to sort of encourage you guys to think about more, because this is something where you'll find people on both sides of the argument will criticize and complain, but the reality is that the Sunnah is the judge between those people and what they believe. Right, now let's see if we can get this PC projector to come on. It's warming up. This is probably the hardest thing we're going to do today, because it contains some quite complex. It's a video which is called "Knowing God, Reason, revelation and intuition. Just warming up. Definitely. It was on before, but it all shut itself down.